Today we're diving into something pretty crucial for anyone running an event. We're talking about the event day run of show. How do you turn it from just a list of times into, well, genuine mission control?
Yeah, moving beyond that frantic spreadsheet feeling to something that actually brings calm and precision.
Exactly. And we've got some fantastic insights here from Marc Ghafoori, the founder and CEO of AlphaTooth. These are strategies he's actually used, battle-tested in real events.
Right. And Mark's whole thing is that the run of show is way more than just an agenda. He has this great description, call sheet, risk dashboard, and therapy dog all rolled into one.
Therapy dog. I like that.
It captures the feeling, doesn't it?
Yeah.
He also uses this powerful analogy. He says, mess with it and you're rearranging engine parts while the plane's at cruising altitude.
Oof. Yeah, that paints a picture.
But tune it right. Everyone lands safely. It really drives home how vital this document is.
Everyone lands safely. Love it. So, for you listening, our mission today is to give you that shortcut, get you up to speed on event logistics. Mark promises a stress level lower than your resting heart rate after 2 espressos. Let's see if we can get you there.
Ambitious, but achievable with the right system.
Okay, so let's get real for a moment. That event day chaos, the last-minute panic, have you felt that? Marc Ghafoori really digs into these common pain points, the gremlins, he calls them, that his system tackles head on.
Yeah, he really does. And the first gremlin is what he calls Swiss cheese sheets. Those really vague scribbled notes. Or the opposite problem, these huge, 60-page Franken documents that are just overwhelming.
Right, impossible to use when you actually need information quickly.
Exactly. Neither one works in the moment. Then you've got the classic last-second curveballs, like keynote slides show up during the rehearsal, or the CEO decides, spur of the moment, let's add a fireside chat, or maybe a freight elevator just dies. The worst.
And suddenly your beautiful timeline is just confetti, as Mark puts it. His system tries to build in ways to handle that shock.
Okay, confetti timelines. Got it. What else?
Another big one. The granularity war. You have the AV team needing down to the second time.
Millisecond precision, yeah.
Right. But then the Deco team just needs to know, is it before lunch?
Yes, definitely seen that disconnect.
And when those teams aren't speaking the same time language, you get friction. Things slow down, cooperation breaks down.
Makes sense. Any other gremlins we should know about?
Oh yeah. Universal access fails. This is a big one. Relying on systems where people get locked out, SharePoint issues maybe, or the radios just blow up with, I can't get the file.
And a million request access emails flooding your inbox.
Exactly. Right when you least need it. It's that basic failure of everyone seeing the same current information. And that leads to other problems like high-stakes timing chaos, missing the window for a book signing, or key sponsor activation gets delayed. That hits brand reputation. Definitely.
And finally, change log amnesia. Changes happen, but they aren't documented clearly. So later, it's all finger pointing. The rhythm of the show gets lost.
Okay, that's a pretty comprehensive list of potential nightmares.
Yeah.
So Mark doesn't just point out problems, right? He's got solutions. And interestingly, he builds his whole system on Google Sheets.
Yeah, and it's a very deliberate choice. It sounds simple, but the reasons are solid. First, universal accessibility. Anyone, any vendor, any device, anytime. Like Mark jokes, even on a cracked iPhone at midnight.
That's key. No more lockouts.
Right. Plus, real-time collaboration. It auto-saves. There's built-in version history. Crucial for a live event environment.
And you can still export PDFs if needed for clients or archives.
Exactly. Weekly PDFs for those lockdown environments. So you get the best of both worlds, dynamic and static. And his framework inside Sheets is really specific for clarity. The columns matter. Start time, end time, both 24-hour format. Segment, name clear, descriptive. Owner who's primarily responsible. Support secondary teams involved.
Okay, pretty standard so far.
But here's where it gets smarter. He includes vendor, location, prerequisites.
Prerequisites. So what needs to happen before this segment can start?
Precisely. Also, equipment needed, work order reference for cross-referencing, and a risk tag.
A risk tag, so you can flag things that need extra eyes.
Exactly. You build that foresight right into the schedule. And notice, he specifically removes the duration column.
Removes duration, why?
To avoid calculation errors and confusion. If you have start and end times, duration is implied, and it's one less place for a mistake to creep in.
Interesting. Okay, so that's the structure.
Yeah.
What about organizing it? Tabs.
Yes, essential tabs. You've got your master timeline, obviously. Then a risk overlay tab, which connects to a separate risk matrix. Also a tab for graphics assets with version control details, a version archive, that's where the weekly PDF snapshots go, and a dedicated changelog tab.
A changelog. So you track every modification.
Yes, and he even mentions you can automate this with a simple script, which is pretty neat. Ensures total accuracy.
It's clear he thinks a lot about visual communication too, not just listing things.
Absolutely. He uses color coding, but subtly, not coloring entire cells, which can be messy. Instead, it's about identifiers for vendor responsibility. So be blue for registration, green for F&B, orange for sponsors.
So you can scan quickly and see who's involved where.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
It makes it instantly scannable.
That's smart, instead of drowning in color.
And here's another clever bit. Instead of tons of separate tabs for each vendor, which gets unwieldy, he uses Google Sheets filter views. Streamlined, but tailored. No information silos.
Okay, this sounds powerful. But how do you actually build this thing? It seems like a lot. Mark lays out a timeline, right?
Yep, a very structured 4-checkpoint build timeline. It prevents that last-minute scramble. So 60 days out, you're just building the main framework, big milestones, any hard stops like noise curfews, VIP arrivals, the non-negotiables.
Just the bones.
Right. And then importantly, you share a view-only link with key stakeholders and vendors. Get that early feedback. Catch big conflicts way in advance.
Smart. Get ahead of the problems. What about 30 days out?
30 days out is the muscle pass. Now you're adding detail. Precise crew call times, load-in, load-out schedules, operational timings. You start embedding links to floor plans, freight schedules, specific work orders. Make it a real hub.
And who gets access now?
You invite vendor PMs, project managers, but only as commenters.
Commenters, not editors.
Right. They can add notes, suggest changes, raise flags, but they can't accidentally delete a crucial row. Keeps control centralized at this stage.
Okay, makes sense. Then 7 days out. Things must be heating.
Definitely. 7 days out is the skin pass. Now, you give trusted leads edit access, people who really know their stuff. And critically, you freeze key columns.
Freeze them. Why?
To lock them down. Prevent accidental changes to the core schedule structure as you get close. Things are getting finalized. This phase ends with a live page turn rehearsal, often over Zoom. You literally read through every line item, confirm timings, owners, everything.
A full read through. Wow.
It catches so many potential issues. Then 1 day out is the hard key pass. Now you lock basically everything except maybe the notes column and columns for logging actual live start and end times during the event.
Maximum lockdown.
Yep. You assign dedicated timekeepers for critical segments. And Marc has this brilliant practical tip. Print stickers with the run of show URL and stick them on every crew radio battery hatch.
No excuses then. The link is literally on their radio.
Exactly. Always accessible.
That's an impressive build process. But,
Yeah.
Events. Stuff
Yeah.
happens. Curveballs are inevitable. How does the system stay flexible?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Marc builds in flexibility from the start. First, those built-in buffers. He suggests adding like a 2-minute empty block every 30 minutes or so.
Just dead space.
Yeah, basically insurance against speaker overruns or small delays. Tiny bits of padding spread throughout.
Okay, micro buffers.
And then bigger chunks,
Yeah.
flex pockets. He recommends building in maybe a 15-minute empty block in the morning schedule and another in the afternoon. These are your pre-planned shock absorbers. If something runs significantly late, you have this designated pocket to absorb the delay without derailing everything that follows.
So you're planning for delays, essentially.
You're acknowledging reality. And then there's the crucial change protocol, especially for that final week.
Okay, how does that work when a change has to happen last minute?
It has to be rigorous. First, only a designated editor updates the master timeline. The change itself is put in red text. It stays red until it's fully communicated.
Visual cue. I like that.
Then a clear radio call cuts through the chatter. And the critical part. Every single affected vendor must verbally acknowledge that they've seen and understood the update over the radio.
Verbal confirmation from everyone involved.
Yes. Only after all confirmations are received does the editor change the red text back to the standard color. Marc is super firm on this. No silent edits during final week.
Why so strict?
Because, as he says, silent edits create confusion. Confusion creates costly mistakes. It's all about absolute clarity when the pressure is on.
Makes total sense. Okay, so going back to those granularity wars, the AV precision versus the decor teams before lunch, how does Marc's system actually fix that clash?
Yes. The classic divide. His solution is pretty ingenious, actually. He builds dual timelines, but within the same sheet.
Dual timelines? How?
He essentially creates 2 views or tracks. One is the precision track. This has the super detailed second-by-second cues for technical teams like AV and stage management. The other is the workflow track. This shows the same overall activities, but with broader timing, more suitable for logistics, decor, catering the before lunch crowd.
So same event, different levels of zoom on the timing.
Exactly. And remember those filter views we talked about?
Yeah.
That's how you manage it. AV uses a filter view to see the precision track details for their tasks. Deco uses a filter view to see the workflow track for theirs. Same sheet, different perspectives.
That is clever. Everyone sees what they need, nothing they don't.
Right. And Marc adds a pro tip. Hold a specific translation meeting about 14 days out. Get AV, Deco, logistics, leads in a room specifically to align these timelines and make sure everyone understands the handoffs.
Proactive communication, bridging the gap before it becomes a problem.
Precisely.
Okay, so we built it, we've made it flexible. How does this all come together on the actual event day, day of live ops?
Right, the execution phase. Marc has a blueprint for this too. First, your command post setup is key. Dedicated laptop and critically a hardline internet connection. Don't rely on Wi-Fi for this.
Good point, hard line.
A large external monitor showing a read-only view of the run of show for quick reference. And reliable wristwatches for the designated timekeepers.
Old school watch. What about prep just before go time?
There's a pre-event installation checklist. Make sure everyone has the link, text it, email it. And always have printed backups of key sections.
Printed backups, never hurts.
Never. You avoid cluttering the radio. Updates happen only during the daily team meetings unless there's an actual emergency.
Keeping the radio clear for critical cues. Smart.
Reduces noise, avoids micromanagement. And finally, vendor training refresh. He suggests a quick 10-minute video explaining the sheet, the color codes, the change protocol, followed by a simple Google Forms quiz.
A quiz, seriously.
Yeah, just to make sure everyone actually watched it and understands the basics before day one. Accountability.
Okay, thorough. Now the event is over. It went smoothly thanks to the system. What happens next? How do you learn from it?
This is huge for Marc, the after action and knowledge capture. It's about the learning loop. Immediately, like the day after, export that final run of show, the one with all the actual start and end times logged. Archive this in a knowledge base. He suggests something like Notebook LM with clear metadata tags, event name, year, venue, key vendors.
So it's searchable later, building institutional memory.
Exactly. Knowledge that stays even if staff changes. Then, about 1 week post-event, hold an internal analysis session. Just your core team leads. Review all those last-minute changes, figure out why they happened, which flex pockets were used effectively, where were the bottlenecks internally.
Learning from the execution.
Right. Then, 2 weeks out, a broader stakeholder review. Bring in key vendor leads. This is a cross-vendor postmortem. Focus on systemic improvements. How could communication between vendors be better? Could Freight and Deco have coordinated better? Big picture stuff.
Finding collaborative improvements.
Yes. And finally, knowledge management and template evolution. You take this event's final actualized run of show, and that becomes the starting template for next year's event. You publish a clean PDF version clearly labeled the final event, and Marc stresses, document the why behind your time decisions, not just the what.
Irrational.
Yes, that context is gold. It builds, as he says, organizational intelligence that transcends individual staff knowledge.
Wow. It really closes the loop from planning to execution to learning and back to planning again. So Marc Ghafoori's vision here, it really elevates the run of show. It's not just a schedule, it's the core of your event's mission control. And the payoff for you, listening, is pretty clear. Events that run smoother, vendors who are aligned, less stress, and maybe you looking like you have a crystal ball.
Absolutely. And it goes beyond just one event, doesn't it? It's about establishing that continuous learning loop. Every successful run of show, built and managed this way, literally becomes the DNA for the next one. You're constantly building on proven, tested, refined systems.
Building operational intelligence over time.
Exactly, making each future event that much more predictable and successful.
Fantastic. And Marc Ghafoori from AlphaTooth doesn't just leave us with a theory. He has a clear call to action for you right now. His challenge, convert one Excel-loving vendor to the current decade. Share this Google Sheets approach.
A worthy challenge. Empowering stuff. It really feels achievable with this kind of framework.
It really does. A huge thanks for breaking down Marc's system for us. Lots to think about and implement.